Hey, Guyanese, hey, what make we so stupid? I wonder. Guyanese like myself, yes. Why we so foolish? And I will tell you. Imagine we put the leaders there in the government and gone we back from them like we don't care how taxpayers' money spent. With all the corruption that taking place, we is the ones to be blamed. While them are thief. We just sit down like if we lame. But this God don't sleep. No, he don't sleep. By the time I done sing make I so, I know you're gonna agree with me that he don't sleep. Jehovah not sleep. One day the same bad seed that them sow, it's that they're gonna reap. Under this party, politicians thieving at will. Under this party, them not care, they're doing it still. Under this party, all the big contracts are go to them friend. Under this party, them forgetting the longest rope of an end. But if we the people can come together and stand up for what is right, put aside we indifference and start unite. Politicians would know them damn place and work with honesty. Then boom, Guyana would rise and have a vibrant economy. Ding dang diddy diddy do dang dunga day. Whoa, dee da dee da ding ding diddy diddy dang diddy diddy do dang dunga day. Whoa, da 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 do ya. Guyanese, open your eyes, yes. Guyanese like myself, hey, it's time we get wise. Imagine we finance minister, auditor is the wife. It's like putting cat to watch milk. Hey! Hey, Guyanese, hey, what make we so stupid? I wonder. Guyanese like myself, yes. Why we so foolish? And I will tell you. Imagine we put the leaders there in the government and gone we back from them like we don't care how taxpayers' money spent. With all the corruption that taking place, we is the ones to be blamed. While them are thief. We just sit down like if we lame. But this God don't sleep. No, he don't sleep. By the time I done sing make I so, I know you're gonna agree with me that he don't sleep. Jehovah not sleep. One day the same bad seed that them sow, it's that they're gonna reap. Under this party, politicians thieving at will. Under this party, them not care, they're doing it still. Under this party, all the big contracts are go to them friend. Under this party, them forgetting the longest rope of an end. But if we the people can come together and stand up for what is right, put aside we indifference and start unite. Politicians would know them damn. Hey! Guyanese, hey, what make we so stupid? I wonder. Guyanese like myself, yes. Why we so foolish? I'm not gonna tell you. Imagine we put we leaders there in the government and turn we back from them like we don't care how taxpayers' money spent. With all the corruption that taking place, we is the ones we blame while them are thief. We just
if you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, good evening. My name is Mark Benshap and welcome to Straight Up. This evening, we are going to start right off batting. We are not going to, as they say in cricket, blats. I wonder how many of you guys know what that is, right? Blats. When you go into the cricket on the cricket field and you're the crease and you just want to tire out the bowler, you tend to, as we say on the current team, blats. You just poke the ball, blats. You blats. And so we wouldn't be blatzing tonight. We'll go straight to the boundary, 4 6s and all manner of things, because there are a lot of things happening in our beautiful country, very disturbing things. And when you see these disturbing things happen, you just can't sit back and watch. You can't sit back and complain. You can't sit back and dilly-dally and find excuses and all manner of things. Because recently we find that that's the order of the day with some of the people who ought to be representing us. And then when you stand up and you speak out and you say, hey, you've got to do more, then they get the little minions, the peanut brain ones, jump up and they parade themselves as some sort of political experts and all manner of things. Mind you, we're watching them. They're inconsequential, mind you, because there are bigger things that we have to be dealing with. And the bigger things we have to deal with is how citizens are being treated in our beautiful country. And the lack, for the most part, the lack of proper political representation. Please do share the link. I have two important, well, all of my guests here are important, but tonight I have two very important guests, Dr. David Hinds and veteran trade unionist, Lincoln Brandon Lewis. We will join with them probably sometime around 9:15. Again, Dr. David Hinds and Lincoln Lewis are with us this evening. So do spread the word, share the link, and let's get ready to rock and roll right here on 107.9 96.1 FM. It's Nurses Day, I believe. Yesterday, some nurses contacted me and they say, midwives and all manner of things. And we've got to pay homage to them. We've got to salute them. A lot of them, especially in Guyana, work under some very horrible conditions, degrading conditions and so forth. And a lot of them have a bunch of idiots that they have to deal with in higher position, right? One particular guy, just imagine this guy is the CEO of the Linden Hospital Complex, has no regards for our nurses. The first controversy that we can remember was when he got into the position, he got in Linden, and he says that a lot of the nurses, they go to work, they clock in, and then they leave and they go and they spend time with their sweet man. Well, some of you who are not Guyanese, you would probably read between the line who a sweet man is or a Joe Grind, right? So he was basically saying that most of the nurses, female nurses, would go to the sweet man. I don't know about the male nurses, but I'm not going to get involved with that. But he was basically directing that comment to the female nurses that they leave work, they take the boat or they drive or however means that they use to get to work. And as soon as they get to work, they cut through some side door or some back door and they gone over to the sweet man and they spend their time and their night at the sweet man and they don't do their job. I don't know what evidence that little idiot has, but he made that ridiculous remarks disrespecting our nurses. And so tonight I want to salute the nurses and to hell with the little idiots, but let me give you guys an example of what we have to deal with or people have to deal with in Guyana.
The cause of nurses at Linden Hospital Complex. I give you my pledge to work tirelessly, night and day, to make the bonds between us stronger. If God is for us, who can be against us?
Now, that's the mockery. Imagine something like that. Not the individual, but the comment, the address that he has to make. He's reading from a piece of paper. What sort of mockery is that? You're reading that from a piece of paper? I don't know. But look, something bad is definitely, I'm not wishing and calling that upon the nation at all. We all love our beautiful country, but we see the direction this nation is heading. We see it. It's right there for people to see. The blatant discrimination, the racism, the political discrimination and political victimizations and all manner of things. And I think many years ago, Lincoln Lewis used the term economic genocide. We're seeing it every single day. And for the most part, I know a lot of our Guyanese people are suffering. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, these people are targeting persons of African descent. If it is not the young people they're targeting the middle-aged people, and they're targeting people who are just above middle age, if you know what I mean, right? Good. So the NIS and all these manner of things, every day, this is what they're doing to us. And then we sit here on social media or on radio station, as we do on 107.1 FM, and we say to the political leaders in the opposition, do more. You have been elected, you have been selected. Some of them are those who are in parliament to represent the interest of the people. And representing the interest of the people is not dressing up and coming on social media and chit-chat all day. That is not representation. Maybe it adds to the form of representation, and don't get me wrong, I'm not ruling that out. I'm not saying that our members of parliament should not come on social media and say something and do their thing. I'm not saying that at all, but spend more time on the ground. Go and meet the people in Berbice, in Lethem, in Bartica, wherever you are supposed to be representing the people. You have not been elected to go into parliament to sit on Facebook and try to look nice and all these manner of things and call that representation of the people. Real politicians go on the ground. They get things done on the ground. You can't expect the leader of the opposition to be every single where. And I hope the leader of the opposition doesn't think that he has to be everywhere. And I hope that the people don't expect the leader of the opposition to be everywhere and every minute, right? That is why we have elected officials. And the members of parliament are supposed to make the job easier for whomever the leader is. And how do they make their jobs, the leader's job easier? It is going out and do the goddamn work in the streets, on the ground, representing your people on the ground, and take back that report to your leader. And then if needs be, your leader will be there on the ground with you as well. I don't want to see members of parliament every minute they're dressing up and they're on social media and they're talking. That is not representation. It is fake representation. It is putting cosmetic on what you're supposed to be doing as a politician representing the people. And a lot of them are going to get upset because some of them are getting paid under false pretense, not going out there to represent the goddamn people in the streets. The people on the quarantine are punishing. Whether they Sport Parent, Alice, Philippi, Brighton, Evesham, Epsom. Evesham had a flood the other day. Evesham, Epsom, and between the Brighton area. They had a flood last week or so forth. Did we see our politicians there? Did we see the members of parliament who are supposed to be representing Region 6? Did we see them with the people out there in Region 6? Did we see them walking around with their long boots and saying to the people, we are going to make proper representation for you. We are going to ensure that this doesn't happen again. We are going to ensure that there's no discrimination at the political level, at the governmental level, and these manner of things. Do we see these sort of representation? A little bit drive-by, stop and chit-chat with the people occasionally is not enough. And sometimes people get vexed. The minions and the peanut brains and the little chicken nugget ones them get upset when we come and we constructively criticize those in the opposition to do what is right. The people are suffering. And then the minions will what is it? They'll label us haters. Haters. That's their favorite word now. Probably lacking any other sort of meaningful thing to say. But haters, we are haters because we are saying to those in the opposition, God damn, get off social media and go and do what is needed to be done. I have two gentlemen with me this evening that I respect tremendously. Not all times I agree with them, but when we disagree with each other, we do it respectfully. That is democracy. We don't call each other names or whatever, you know. We might sue a little bit about each other, but we love and respect each other. It is politics, and that is why they are here with me this evening. Before I bring them on, they're backstage, and I respect them tremendously that I don't want them to wait much longer. But I want you guys to see this here. See what is happening in Linden. See what is happening in that region, and the disrespect to the people. But for the most part, no proper representation. Again, no proper political representation. Thanks to London, Apostle London, for sharing these videos with me. I'll just play them. They're very short. This is what's happening in Linden. Compliments of the corrupt, racist, installed PPP regime.
It's very sick. Okay, umbrella. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay. for putting up resistance and asking questions.
I got to bring Lincoln and David on. This is a mother and a young woman out there working to make a living, to start to do something, put up a little house. Is her home, that is her mansion. And for her Mother's Day present, that is her Mother's Day present. Break it down. No regards, no respect. Let me welcome our guests this evening, two good friends of mine. These gentlemen have contributed tremendously for decades for a better Guyana. Let us welcome them. Dr. David Hinds and veteran trade unionist Lincoln Lewis. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you, Mark. Good evening, Lincoln. And good evening to your audience.
Well, I want to tell you, my brother David, I am happy to be sharing this program with you. I hope we can do justice to the audience who may be out there waiting and waiting for us to go.
Yes, gentlemen, let's go. Let's take the first bite of that. Here it is. A woman house is being torn down, ripped apart. Look at it. Let's take a look at it quickly, gentlemen, before I get your comment on this. We start with this.
It's very sick. Okay, brother. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay for putting up resistance and asking questions. Red hat.
All right, who's going to take the first bite of that? Lincoln or David? Go ahead, please. Anyone.
I want to tell you something. I want you to understand something. Why see there? This thing started nearly more than a fortnight ago with this this, what you call it, this shovel backhoe in the area, cleaning, pushing down the damaging, in fact, the pear trees, the coconut trees that were planted there by people. I've tried to make contact with political operatives, and everybody trying to say that they don't know what is going, but nobody go there and check. Let me tell you something. People got to rise up. People got to rise up. People got to fight back. People can't wait on political leaders any longer. And no leader. People got to take things in their own hands. Because these people are not prepared. They're prepared to put a set of people on the fringes of society. We have to take strong, the people got to strong. I can't understand how Linden reached to this level where they sit down as a quiet, docile people and allowing people to go into Linden and do this to them. It never used to happen. It never could happen. The last time that they tried it was in 2012 and the community come out against it. What happened with these young people? What happened with our people there? This is a government that is this government has an intention to place a group of people at the fringe of society. Let me tell you something. We fight slavery. We fought slavery. If our forebears did not fight slavery, all of us would have born in slavery. The people who came subsequently after slavery and worked in this country as indentured servants, plenty of them. This government has a group of people who are descendants of that group. But that group intend now to make people slaves again. This is not surprising of them. When they came to power in the 90s, they flood outside at Melanie North. Do you remember that area when they break the sea wall to get rid of people who were on who had lands there? They came subsequently when they came to power this time again. What they did to those people at Better Hope South in the cane fields. They flood out people telling you that they want the lands to plant cane. Not one root was put down there after they flood the people. We have to begin to fight back.
We'll stop. We'll take a stop at that note. Fight back the right way, the proper way, the democratic way.
Let me tell you something. Let me make this point very clear to you, Mark.
Please.
The question of fighting back, in the right or wrong way. If people are prepared outside of the law to try to violate the law, to transgress people's rights, then don't tell me that I got to operate within the confines of law.
All right, let's
deal with people according to the circumstances.
We got you. Loud and clear, we got you, Lincoln. And those on 107.1 FM also got you. Loud and clear. Dr. David Hinds, let's get your introduction and what you saw there in that video, the young woman's house being bulldozed by operatives of the PPP regime.
Well, Mark, this is 2022. It's 56 years after independence, 52 years after Republican status, and we boast to the world that we're independent and we're a republic. But when you see that kind of action, you're asking, what is the quality of our independence? What is the quality of our republic? That there goes to the human side of us. I mean, I often say, you know, there is party politics and there's all, but there's the human side of us. And when I look at that, I'm asking, are we a modern society? Are we a society that is really independent? Are we a society that is really, what is the content of our independence that allows that to happen? Now, we can say people are not standing up, but nowhere in Guyana, nowhere in the world, people have stood up without leadership. You know, people are not going to come out on the road in the face of a government and police with guns and that doesn't. They have to have leadership. All right. These things have to motivate leaders to go among the people and to organize them, not just organize them to change a government, organize them to defend themselves. People are not defending themselves because they don't know how to defend themselves. We have a whole new generation, don't know that they're Black, don't have any regard for that because we stopped telling them they're Black. We start telling them they're Guyanese and all kinds of things. They don't know that the struggle for freedom is an ongoing struggle, that you have to continue to fight every day, not only to get things, but to protect what you already have. We have a society whose consciousness of itself as a people who came out of slavery and indentureship, as a people who have achieved independence, but who must defend that independence. We don't have that. We are really asking people to do things that they're not equipped to do. The Linden that Lincoln is talking about, the Linden of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s up until 2000, that Linden is gone. It has gone. I can tell you as someone who is on the ground if I'm in Guyana. We brought those young people out of the streets. We brought them out of the rum shop in 2012. 10 years later, that is happening. I'm telling you, as Lincoln said in 2012, that could not happen. What have we done in 10 years to give people the consciousness that they need to defend themselves? Human beings are a collective being. We are individuals, but when we come to act in defense of society, it's a collective action. It's not an individual action. And you have to have a consciousness of that collection. Let's be frank. Let's be frank. The Linden and Guyana that some of us, it's not there. We have made a mess of it. We have not left our people with tools in their hands to defend themselves. Our people are defenseless. And we have not yet worked out how, in the face of what is happening, how do we put tools in their hands to defend themselves again? I heard you in the opening talking about opposition leader, opposition politicians on social media. Well, if you take people off the streets and put them in parliament, that's how they will behave. If people start in politics in their community, defending their communities, defending the people in their communities, and work their way up the ladder, you will have a different quality of political leader. But when you take people off the streets, because there's your friend or whatever it is, and you throw them in parliament, you expect them to give the quality of leadership that the three of us are accustomed to know. Our society is in bad shape. Black people are in bad shape. And if we don't fix that, this will continue to happen every day. Because nobody is going to go jump up and go out in the streets without leadership, without tools in their hands to fight back against this level of dictatorship.
Well said, Dr. David Hinds here for us. You've heard from veteran trade unionist Lincoln Lewis again. Let's get back to a video out there in Linden to show to the world what the people, the PPP folks, their goons did today in, where is it, Amelia's Ward, Linden. Here's another clip.
These people have no conscience. No conscience I don't have. None.
Mother's Day coming around Sunday, or even if it wasn't Mother's Day, where do they expect this family to go now? And that's not the only family, actually. They did it to scores of other people. Let's go to another video quickly, please, gentlemen.
Somebody just go and help the woman out in the building. I want to help her go outside.
I got you, Toy. I got you.
This is so sad. And then, you know, the representation out there in Linden, the MPs and so forth, they all should have been there to block this thing from happening. We have done it before. I know, being on the ground personally, I've done it on numerous occasions when the goons in the PPP attempted to do people's stuff. And I wasn't an elected official. We were all on the ground fighting the PPP oppressors. We're not seeing it now, Dr. Hinds and Lincoln Lewis. We're not seeing it now at all. Back to Lincoln.
Yeah, let me tell you. These guys, they have done so much damage to this community. You know, when they break up the pension fund for bauxite workers, it was the largest pool of money in this country that was owned primarily by by people who comprise the African community. It was $2.5 billion. They break it up with all the recommendations that they had in front of them. They do everything to break it up. It's the same thing they're doing to credit unions now, credit unions and co-ops, where they recognize that the African community are steep in co-ops. What they're doing is move the, what we call the leadership of these co-ops, and then seek to put a point where you call management committees with people of who they know they can control, who will do their biddings. Quite recently, there was a team, a foreign team that was in this country trying to come here, trying to take the credit unions them and say they'll make one mega credit union. And they got the blessings of the government to come to do that. It is the Public Service Union, I believe the Public Service Union is the one who stood up against them. That's the type of problem that confront us today. And every time these things happen, I'm going to tell you something. Every time these things happen, you mark my word, it is somebody from the African community who undermines this community, who work for undermining these institutions and communities. And we got to call them out for what it is. We got to let them know. We have to deal with them. It's a worrying situation. Very, very worrying. They don't damn well care who they hurt, and so forth. That situation there, I'm aware that those people are being attacked. I've raised it with political operatives. And nobody seemed to want to go down there and do something for those people.
I don't know. The thing is, Mr. Lewis, that it appears that no one in political leadership wants to go out there and do something. Dr. Hinds, do you share that same view?
Yeah, Mark, you're correct. We look, we have socialized our people to fight for the party. If you call an election tomorrow, these people who you all saying, and they're taking nonsense and they're taking advantage taking. If you call election tomorrow, you will see these people, our people, in their thousands behind the party. Let's be real. Let's be real. Because we have socialized them to defend the party. We have not socialized our people to defend themselves. Because you see, when they defend themselves, they're not only going to be defending themselves against the people, they're going to be defending themselves against their own leaders. That Linden, when the PNC was in office in the 1960s, you had wildcat strikes left and center. You had the Ryler strike. You had the 1976 strike when bauxite workers were tear gas in their cells by a government that they voted for, and the women of Linden went into the police station and freed their men. It was a Linden where people were socialized not only to defend party, but to defend themselves. Defend themselves. That Linden is gone. That Guyana is gone. Because we are not teaching, well, we are, some of us are, teaching our people that a large part of what's happening to you is because you're black. If you don't understand that, you are not going to get the impetus to fight back. What are you fighting back against? You will see it. They live down the house, that is me individual story. You have to let people be able to licking down their house with the knocking off of thousands of public servants, to not giving them a livable wage, to giving money to one group and not giving flood relief to another group. You have to give people the consciousness that they can link what is happening to them to something larger. They don't have that consciousness. The political party is not giving them, because the political party is about winning an election and scoring cheap points. Point is, What is under attack is the humanity of Black people in Guyana, the honor of the group. And people are not talking about that. Every time you open your mouth to talk, the Indians say you're racist. So Black leaders don't talk about race. And their people are racially assaulted every day. Like what's it happening there? And the people have no frame of reference from which to begin to fight back. Because all that we have taught them to do is to fight for the party.
All right. Before we get back to Lincoln, here's a comment from Brenda Casey, one of our listeners. And Miss Casey is saying here, I'm sick and tired to see and hear the complaints day after day, year after year. Would have exploded by now and fight back. Good comment. I'll start with Lincoln when we return. Let's get back to Linden. What are the videos out there today? Lady begging, telling them that they're wrong. Brenda Casey is saying, fight back. Too much talking. Commissioner Cole says, well, in reality, many of the leaders are very comfortable with their monies and kickbacks. They care less for the poor and powerless. They use them as pawns to gain power, then abandon them. Ah, gosh. Lincoln, take a first bite of that, please, sir.
Let me tell you what, I still believe strongly that let me tell you something, there's no government, or the PPP government over the years, you have seen it, the only way you can bring them to the table is by going in the streets against them. That's the only way you can deal with the PPP. You can't only issue statements about them. You got to fight the PPP in the street. You got to be a street battle. And the faster the politicians who represent half of this society that is being marginalized come to terms and understand that the masters are the people outside there. And they got to stand with those people. It will be better for this society. David made a point. The point is that David made is that the issue of socializing people, educating and socializing people to understand that they are different in some way to those who run this government and the program that they have in place. What these people have done over since they came to power is that strategically they have placed all the in all strategic position. What they did is put the two Indians. And after that, they brought some African people around who believe that they have arrived. So they're not looking out for us. They're not looking out for Black people, you know. You better understand those faces that you're seeing here. And we need not be comforted at any point. Let me give you an example of something. We have had a set of athletes who went to the Carifta Games. We get gold. The team came back. We don't even see, this is what we have not had for a long time. We get a gold. We don't even see a poster put up in this country. Said this athlete here, this is athlete has brought back gold. The other one brings silver, who brings bronze, and what have you. We have not seen those things. But we have had the Brazilian president here today, and this place was flooded with posters around the place about him. our own people, and I'm raising this because I'll tell you this, people say you must look back. I remember, when, let me take you back, when Blackmore became the Commonwealth welterweight champion, and he came back to this country. It was under Burnham. They took him to all the nooks and crannies in this country for people to see who he was and to understand his contribution and what it means to Guyana. What it brought is a level of nationalism. These people don't believe in nationalism. And we have to call a spade, and we got to start to do things that are different for our own people. They don't care about this. I understand that we have to fight. We got to fight. But we have to fight collectively. We have to fight first and foremost. Like somebody said to me the other day, why you start about race, and I tell them something. As a trade union, they say I must start about race, I must start about class. But I tell them one thing, that if the group that I come from is under attack, an attack as an act of exterminating that group, should I stand up silently and allow the attackers to destroy those who, my brothers and sisters around me? Because when I finish with them, they're coming for me next. And the faster all these guys who have now been given some position in some corner and believing that they have arrived, when they finish with all of us, they're going to come for this. In this space here, we got to hold hands now, and we got to fight back.
Precisely. Hold hands. Hold hands indeed. Dr. Hinds, I want you guys to take a look at this comment from a Miss Simons, and she's saying PPP have psychoanalyzed the Africans in Guyana and are taking advantage of their weaknesses. Why isn't the same not being done to them? Dr. Hinds?
Because the PPP understands race. The PPP mobilizes based on race, and we don't. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. We have to decide whether our objective as an opposition, as a political formation, whether our objective is to win an election, or our objective is to defend our people and advance them. Winning an election ought to be part of our objective from my standpoint. For me, what is most important is to protect Black people from what's happening in Linden. That is what is most important. So therefore, what people are saying, let's go on the streets and so on and things. And I sympathize with people. Look, street is the end product. You're talking to a man who come up in struggle, right? When you go on the street, that's the end product. There's a lot that have to go on in the background to prepare people to go on the streets. And a lot of time people not understanding that. They think you just jump on the street just like that. When you see people take to the street, it's spontaneous, but it's the building up of a lot of frustration and a lot of mobilization. We have to get down among our people and give them the tools. Give them the tools to defend themselves. People don't defend themselves without tools in their hands.
You know, Dr. Hinds, the political lunatics and the fringe elements who oftentimes write about us and describe us in very derogatory terms, the madmen crew that they belong to, they would say that Lincoln and David Hinds, Lincoln Lewis and David Hinds are saying that opposition supporters or African people should be given tools. They will interpret that to mean their type of tools.
Yes.
You know, maybe we don't necessarily have to explain.
No, but the point is, hold on, Lincoln. The point is, they know that every night you and I and others are on air giving our people the tools. They know that. That is why you notice they function the other day. They said they now have to codify these online, which means they have to find ways to bring us under the control that they can pass laws to stop up from what we are doing. They know we are giving people the tools. When I stand up and say, as a proud black man, I ain't taking that. I telling other black people to do that. I telling other black people to say, you ain't taking that. When I went to Victoria in August, they psychoanalyzed. They said David Hinds in the month of August went to the first village. Look at his body language as he's speaking to black. They're damn right. I'm giving black people the tools as black people. I'm not mincing matters. There's a time for class, and there's a time for gender, and there's a time for race. And if you're going to dehumanize people because of their race, people have to fight back because of their race. We are sending mixed signals to our people. We're trying to tell them, look, what the PPP is doing, they aren't doing it to you because you're black. Because look, Indian people, they're doing it to them too. They may be doing it to Indian people, but they're doing it different. They're screwing Indian people different from the way they're screwing we say no more. And you have to give people an identity and something to fight with. And once they're waffling, people tune us out.
All right.
This is what has happened.
Let me just make
what the other side says, we are the lunatic fringe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That we are the ones who are giving people the tools to fight. And they say, them is the lunatic fringe, and our mainstream leaders run away from us.
And the thing is that they have lunatic fringe within us that screenshot what we write and email it to the lunatic fringe groups them as well. But let me, before Lincoln, I know you want to make a point. Let me remind our people that this is what has happened today to the people of Amelia's ward in the compliments of the corrupt, racist PPP regime.
It's very sick. Yeah, brother. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay for putting up resistance and asking questions. Red hat.
So she put up resistance, and that's the end of our house. The end of it. Lincoln, you were making a point before that video, sir. Go ahead.
You know, every time I see this, every time I see this video, I get more mad about what taking place. You know, and what worries me is people not coming, black people not coming to understand something. That the PPP as a program to marginalize us, destroy us economically. We're not coming to realize that. If where the PPP is, anything that you hear is run by African people, black people in this country, all that they will do is seek to see how they can, if they can break it up, or they can control it, and for the benefit of their clan. That's how they behave. Look what they do to the co-op at Linden, at Wisma. They had one man who go and make a complaint. The minister came, he and his team to Linden. A meeting was held with the co-op. management committee, and immediately after that, they send him a letter to say they're appointing what we call a management committee. But in that management committee, the management committee comprised of the man who have made the complaint. He's part of the management committee because he's working for them. You have the same problem now taking place at the PSU credit, at the Public Service Credit Union. All that we people doing, and you know, as I read what is taking place in that credit union, with the fighting, with what people want to do, you know what they're doing? They are leading again. Our people, you know, we are destructive. We are destructive. We're not strategic in our approach. We are damn well destructive because you know what's going to happen? They are now the government very early has wanted to take control of that credit union because he get plenty money and their friends are going to just join and they're going to use the money for what they want to do. Very early in this government, they made an attempt and they were stave off. Now you get a group inside here who prepare now to do things in a certain way. And when they decide, I am warning them that what they're doing is opening up or giving further to the PPP intent to put a management committee in place and kick all of them to the curb, right? We have to be strategic in what we do. Strategic
indeed. Lincoln Lewis is saying it, and I hope people who ought to be strategic are watching and taking note. Kellon Joseph is saying weak leadership, maybe across the board he's talking about, not just in one particular position. But I have noticed the regular comments in attempting to degrade those of us who are from the Black, the African, the Guyanese community, and nothing is wrong with embracing that. But oftentimes we see these sort of silly statements. Dr. Hinds, you'll take a bite at this. This guy, Anil Sibalak, nothing new. Black peoples can't run nothing. But yet, the same Black folks that they're talking about, of course, he's darker than all of us put together here tonight. For 400 years, our African ancestors were forced to be slaves, forced to build that country. 400 plus years after other indentured servants came. But what a lot of those folks don't want to accept, or maybe don't know, is that the first set of indentured servants were actually Africans. The first set. So the arrival, if we are to be politically correct, or we are to go in terms of our history, the first set of people who arrived there as indentured servants were Africans. But I just thought I'd share that with our listeners. Well, why so much hatred and all these degrading comments about Black people that we can't work and we don't like this? But a lot of us are homeowners. We got jobs. We own big lands. We farm. We are productive citizens and all manner of things. And when our indentured brothers and sisters came to Guyana, it's the same. Folks who were forced into slavery were able to train them and teach them how to cut cane, how to do this, how to do that, and all manner of things. Dr. Hinds, I'm running out of you take over.
Yeah, the notion of Black inferiority is ingrained in peoples of the world, whether they are brown people, red people, white people. The notion of Black inferiority after 400 years of slavery is really embedded in people's consciousness. And those other groups have not liberated themselves from that notion of Black inferiority. And Black people themselves have inculcated part of that notion of their own inferiority. So Black people come to believe that they can't run things. I gave the example, young people, Ipadaji had a conference on business, young people in business this past weekend there. And they asked me to make a presentation of the history of entrepreneurship in the Black community. And I trace Black people in business from the period of apprenticeship, 1834 to 1838, right up to the present. And one of the young men who was a winner in the competition that they are there for business ideas, he sought me out, got in touch with me, and said he's so thankful for my intervention, because these young people really do believe that Black people can do business. And I stressed in my thing that doing business is not a biological thing. Business in any community has to do with the space that the government and state allow you. All right? The government determines who gets business. You want to open a newspaper in Guyana. You want to start a radio station in Guyana. You need advertisement. 90% of the advertisement in Guyana come from the government. Government is not going to give you advertisement for your paper and you think, and people will say your business failed. Your business didn't fail. The government did not give you space to business. And the point I am making here with this story is that we have to educate our people to understand that Black people are not inherent failures. That there are others out there who use the government and the state in order to ensure that we fail. And so if they're going to do that, then we either have to lick down that government state and produce space for our people to succeed. That is what we need to do. When we have power in our hands, we should not believe that we ought to use that power like we are conscious. We are the Pope. We have to use that power as others have used it. They want to play the game, and they're in power, they look after their people. Therefore, the logic says that when I have power in my hand, I look after my people. Black leaders better get that in the pipe and smoke, or we dead in Guyana. So, my mobilization is that if the state prevents Black people from getting economic space, if the state uses its power to lick down their house, then we have to lick down that state and make sure our image is imprinted in that state.
Francine Cruz is talking about bottom house meetings and corner house meetings and these manner of things that is lacking in that country at the moment. But before we get back to what Francine Cruz is saying, good evening to Francine. These nice names we get here, Francine. Let's go back to this this event out, this horrible thing that's happening to the people of Linden. And I'm hoping that the people of Linden will stand up and do what is right to defend their tongue, defend their community. Look at what's happening in Linden, or what has happened today. These videos are compliments of Apostle Nigel London. Thank you, Apostle London, for these videos.
These people have no conscience. No conscience I don't have. None.
Horrible. Let's continue looking at least another one of the videos.
Somebody just to go and help the woman out in the building. I want to have to check it outside.
Bulldoze all the people's land. Look at those who are bulldozing. Look at those who are directing. Look at those who are guarding. Look at all those people, huh? Lincoln, I want us to touch on a topic because I know people's blood is boiling up this evening. Let's touch on the topic of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union and the good and strong leadership of Trevor Benn, who was the chief executive officer at the Guyana Lands and
Chairman. He's the chairman.
Yeah, he was the chief executive officer of the Lands and Surveys before he was.
Yes.
Yeah, he's now the chairman of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union. Lots of things have turned around. The members of the credit union are happy. They've never been so happy in all of their years there, but now they are. We have seen this massive and good turnaround as a result of great leadership coming from Mr. Trevor Benn. But guess what? They are now, with the help of the PPP, and I repeat, with the help of the PPP, attacking Trevor Benn, wanting to overthrow Trevor Benn now through something they call a no confidence motion. Let us have Mr. Lincoln Lewis to take the first bite at this attack against Trevor Benn and his leadership.
Let me say, that I've been following this credit union for some time now. And as recent as the last 2 years, I've seen a major effort to move this credit union from what it used to be to something of an institution that can hold its own in this age. I've spoken with these guys, and these guys one of their intention was to put ATM machine to help to expedite the question, the issue of somebody wanting to have a withdrawal, or somebody wants to make a deposit and these type of things. They have moved to the point where they are talking about giving car loans, and I believe they started the car loans and improve on the question of housing, right? As one way of making major investing their money rather than just taking the money and putting it in the bank. If they do, if they put it in the bank, they may get a 1 or 1.5%, the most interest on it. If they put that money into housing, they will get significantly more than that. That's the way you have to go. But I've observed a group of people now who are working as seriously. They want to see Trevor Benn and maybe some other people to out of it. And that's why earlier I made the point earlier. What these guys what they don't understand. That is the same behavior we had post-slavery. When we bought lands, when our forebears bought lands, what the colonial master did was to flood those lands to make sure that you understand me, our crops are damaged. Our livestock were damaged too. We have had, over the years, we have seen what this government has done to us. Right? They have flooded the areas that we occupy. Now you're going now a credit union moving. You want to give them the opportunity. You want to you want to move some people out and give them the opportunity, give the government the opportunity to put IMC. Like what they did in Linden. The Transport and General Workers Union, credit union is under IMC now. Everywhere where you see black people running their own business, they will lose something in the law to move them out. You know what they're saying? That same way as how you said that there was somebody who blocked and said that black people can't run anything. You know what they do? They will say to us what they're saying to us. Very clearly, they're making this point to us. That while your supporters or your peers have elected you, we will say who will lead them. So we're going to use the law to do that to people. I'm calling on the membership of the credit union to come up against any group that wants to do anything to help the PPP to put in place an IMC. We got to fight back.
Absolutely.
We got to start. Credit unions, cooperatives have been made, have been established for the people to run it, not you to run it.
All right, Lincoln, let's have Dr. David Hinds to take a quick bite at this and what the union should do. Members, mind you, because here is a man, competent leader, Mr. Benn, Trevor Benn. He has actually displayed tremendous leadership there at the credit union. Lots of members, most or all of the members are happy with his leadership, but a bunch of individuals who apparently are getting instructions from the PPP to go after Trevor to have him removed. Your take, Dr. Hinds.
Well, it's domination. I mean, you dominate people by dismantling what they have built up. And you shake their confidence, and you get a couple of black people to do the bidding of the government, and you control what you can't control. You break up. That's how people who are into domination operate. Look, Mark, we do not know how much we have fallen. We do not know how much in the black community we have fallen. So that is why we are so frustrated that people are not getting up and fighting. You know, we have fallen real bad. I mean, the last time black people fight for anything as black people was during the Black Power movement of the 1970s. We have arrived. We are Guyanese, we are not black. We you know, one people, one nation, one destiny. Fighting for crossover votes. We stopped being black since the 70s. And people are beating us on our head as black. And we say, ouch, Guyanese, why are you beating us for Guyanese? Well, you are Guyanese, but you are black Guyanese. And they're beating on you that conscious of it because you don't believe you're black. We are asking people to do things that they are not socialized to do. I'm not quarreling with people, you know. I understand why black people taking blows. I'm not quarreling. They put the leaders there for 5 years. And as far as they're concerned, you all on the boo. Right? And we have got time with you. You understand? There is that. And we can cry till the cows come home. Mr. Granger did this. Mr. Granger did that. Mr. Granger did the terror. If Mr. Granger supporters who turn him from a soldier to a rock star don't believe that he do anything, if he don't do anything. And we are calling on people who have lost faith in their leaders, who have lost faith in Guyana, to stand up and go on the streets. No, people are going to survive. They're going to try to survive as individuals. And we got to prepare people to fight. People don't get up and fight just like that. We have to prepare, and black people have fallen so far. We have lost about 2-3 generations of black people to this nonsense that they're not African Guyanese, they're Guyanese. And I am telling you that thing is a handcuff on the hands of black people. They can't fight because they don't believe they're black. And as the sister said, the people have psychoanalyzed us. And they're taking it. They know that they will beat up as black people. And we will do nothing because our leaders don't mobilize us as black people. Our leaders don't teach us about black history. Our leaders don't tell us that we are black, so the people understand where to hit us. And we are sitting up here and saying that people must do something and fight back. What? What they're going to fight back with? What are they going to fight back with?
All right. What are they going to fight back with? But before we go, I wanted to get a quick word from Mr. Trevor Benn, whom our operator Lemon has invited to join us just for a couple of minutes before we wrap up. But before we do, let us just show the folks back again. Meanwhile, before we get to the video, let's show them something that's happening in Albaiston. Flood again, all over. I believe, sorry, that's New Amsterdam. Sorry, New Amsterdam, all over. Flooding out now in New Amsterdam. No one cares. Absolutely no one. They do not give a damn in the PPP regime. And then you have this guy from Brazil, in my opinion, a bully, a knucklehead, visiting Guyana, the Brazilian president, visiting this other knucklehead. And guess what? Again, the opposition saying, oh, we were not invited, or you are not this. Or, Dr. Hinds, you look as though you're boiling up. You want to say something, but quickly, let's get something.
No, bring on Mr. Ben.
Yeah, he's coming on shortly, but Lincoln, you have something to add quickly? I see you're smiling too.
I am smiling against the backdrop that with all these things that are happening, all we're getting is show photograph. People cost of living going up every day. And people will have to take things into their own hands. I believe so. If the political leadership is not prepared to act, let me point out to you, David made a point about when they were in power for 5 years. You understand me? What we have had them taking on those who, from the black community, who critique what they were doing, try to help them to do better. They turn back on those people. Let me tell you further. Right now, we have a situation where, as you're bringing Mr. Ben on to talk about something, talk about with credit union, the people that who fighting Mr. Ben, I never heard any one of them sitting down and take on Mr. Jagdio and Mr. Orfanali. We're not doing that. What we're looking, we're picking out black leaders who we're going to destroy, rather than sitting down and say, look here, these are not the enemies. These men and women are not the enemies. The enemy is Mr. Jagdio and so forth, who are working against our community. Let us mobilize and target them. We're not doing that.
All right. Lincoln, we are joined here by the former Chief Executive Officer of the Guyana Lands and Surveys. And if you check the record, the turnaround that this gentleman did there to modernize that entire agency, Lands and Surveys, reduce corruption at every level, all compliments of Trevor Benn. He went over now to the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, did the same, modernized everything, making everybody happy and comfortable. And here it is now that a group of folks who are getting their orders allegedly from the PPP to get rid of Trevor Benn. Mr. Benn is here with us this evening. Good evening, sir. Again, Trevor, what is going on and what is the latest now? They want to oust you.
Mark, good evening, Dr. Hinds and Mr. Lewis, and to all viewers. I am learning, just like you have today, about this matter in relation to the no confidence. I've been hearing rumors, but it's the first time I'm seeing anything formally. I was not informed by the committee formally, nor was I informed by the CCDO. So as far as I'm concerned, this never happened. I remain the chair of the management committee, and we are prepared to take whatever action to ensure that that remains so.
All right, every action. I just got a message from one of the members, and lots of members are upset about this particular position. And I asked the member earlier today, what exactly are they doing? But I'm told that the members will be this Wednesday, well, next Wednesday, sorry. Wednesday is too long from now. And to protest in favor, in support of Mr. Benn. Next Wednesday, 12 o'clock, they will be protesting. Next Wednesday. I hope, though, Mr. Benn, that because the court needs to stop this illegality, they need to stop it. There must be an injunction the PPP using these individuals to go after you cannot get their way. I hope there's a court matter pending for this. There got to be a Supreme Court action, as my friend here, Commissioner Cole, is saying. There got to be a court action, sir. But how are you feeling knowing all the works that you have done and try to modernize this union? That here it is, the people that you were part of also. You guys sat together, campaigned together, running for leadership of this union, broke bread together, drank wine and coffee together, are now coming up against you. How do you feel, sir?
Mark, I'm stuck with a bunch of short-sighted people who do not see the vision that is needed for this 21st century, for the union. We have been stuck in a position of backwardness for many, many years. When I arrived at the credit union, our members were unable to get basic services. It took 3 weeks to get a loan, a small loan of $100,000. It took 3 weeks when I got there. Today, you can walk in one door and walk out another door with that money, one time. You know, we have introduced a number of new products for the first time. And these didn't just happen overnight. We've been planning and strategizing for the last 4 years over these matters. And we intend to make sure that the work we have begun will continue and that the members remain our priority. It is not good for our members who have been sacrificing all of these years, making their monies available to us, to not have the benefit of their sacrifice. And I'm prepared to work with all the members to ensure that this continues. As you know, Mark, we have been working to expand the services of the credit union. We had planned this year that we will introduce a new product. Last year, we introduced 2 new products. One was the mortgages and the vehicle loan. This year, we had hoped to introduce insurance for our members. A lot of the public servants do not have insurance. They have to have private insurance. And because they have monies with us sitting, some of which could go towards a monthly contribution towards insurance, we were hoping to begin that. We were hoping also to begin to expand using ATM cards for our members to make it a lot more efficient and a lot more user-friendly so that they don't need to come and line up at the credit union for a small amount of money. In fact, the amount of time people spend in leaving the quarantine, leaving Burbies, etc., it adds up to a lot when people have to come to Georgia. And so we want to make sure that we put these services in their communities. You know, we opened an office in Essequibo, and we wanted to open another office in Linden for that matter. There was a building made available to us, prime property, prime location. And the committee said that if they were not interested in moving on that building now, so that we can serve the people of Linden better. We have one of the largest group of people in Linden, a large group of people in Linden, and we believe, and we promise them for that matter, that we will be going to Linden, getting closer to them to serve them, and we weren't able to do that. You know, monies were removed from the budget for all of these things that I'm talking about. We were hoping also, for the last 3 years, we had monies in the budget to build a new building, a space where we are. And that money too was taken out of the budget this year under the pretext that we need a balanced budget. It's scary with the way people are viewing the vision for the improvement of the credit union. And I hope that the members can take this very seriously. We cannot afford to lose this opportunity to make sure that the membership, the almost 15,000 members, continue to benefit in a meaningful way from the sacrifices that they've been making to be members of the credit union.
You know, I got a question quickly before we get the closing remarks of Dr. Hinds and trade unionist Lincoln Lewis. And this, I'm smiling about it because It is coming from a Dion Yearwood. Hear this question. Is the credit union open to the public or only African Guyanese? Gosh, I had to let you answer this question here, man.
Well, the credit union is open to all members of the public service. We have people from all races in the credit union. There's no race boundary.
Thank you. I know it was whoever that person is. I'm like, the credit union is open to all members, and members are from all race. It's not just one group of people. You see, Dr. Hinds, you laugh, please. I don't know, but use that as the closing remarks here. That's your smile. Let's get your closing remarks there.
Well, people are just being mischievous, and they can't not know that the public service credit union is for all public servants. They're just being mischievous. But look, Mark, you don't get transformation if you don't work for transformation. You don't get people engaged in active struggle if you don't mobilize them to engage in active struggle. All right, there's no magic in confronting an authoritarian regime. There's no magic. You have to recognize, first of all, it's an authoritarian regime. And you have to ask yourself, what are the tools you have at your disposal? And you start to work with those tools that you have at your disposal and to prepare and mobilize people. If you are mobilizing just for an election, then you're accepting the way things are. And you're saying our objective is an election. So if your only objective is an election, you go to an election. If you win, okay. If you lose, you're in the same place. If your objective is to lift your supporters from where they are to the point where they are on a level playing field with other groups in the society, then you have a broader objective. And I'm afraid our objective is too instant. We want instant things. And life is not about instant things. And political struggle ought not to be about instant things. Saying that's our objective. Is our objective to ensure that Black people, opposition supporters, get their just reward in the society? Then if that's your objective, then that will inform your struggle. Are you going to struggle for local content? Local content will benefit the East Indian and Portuguese business class. That's not my business. Are you going to struggle for change in the contract? Well, if you change the contract and more money comes, it goes in the government coffers. I don't think that's my business. What about the ordinary working people? What about Black people? What about poor women? What is for them in oil? That's where I am fighting. I am fighting for local content. I am fighting for change no contract. Let the people who can benefit from that, fight for that. I am fighting for a share of it for ordinary people. That is why cash transfers, which all of them are dancing around because they have no respect for poor people. They're not interested in poor people. They're interested only in those nonsense that don't benefit poor people in any direct way. Your objective will determine where you stand in the struggle. Elections are okay, but I am concerned about the dignity of Black people in a country that they have given dignity. That's what my concern is. And so that's where my energy is at the moment.
All right, thank you, Dr. David. And I'm looking at Bob Marley in your background there, Tupac Shakur, and the late President Nelson Mandela, all three great, and they have contributed tremendously. Bob Marley said, get up, stand up for your rights. You've got to get up, stand up for your rights. Trade Unionist Lincoln Lewis, your closing remarks, please.
We got to buckle down to the whole issue of our bread and butter at some point. David made the point there that we get plenty money around now, and we must seek to get some of that money to the people. First and foremost, we must do that. Secondly, let me say to you that you guys, I've listened to Trevor, and I believe that you, both Mark and David, both of you have megaphones by way of your programs. I believe that they should invite Trevor because he has more to say about this credit union and what the journey that they have traveled and what is ahead. We need to know that. And let me say to you as we discuss everything, I want to tell you this, that what we need to do is to talk to our political leaders. When these guys were in government, many of them had bricks in their pocket for some people. If they're in opposition now, they must take those bricks out and throw them away. They have to work with the people. You know, yesterday I was talking with a comrade, and the comrade said to me, you know, people got to come and work with the politicians. So I asked him a question. I said, are you telling me that the politicians don't have an equal responsibility or they don't have a greater responsibility to go and work with people out there? And he stopped and he said, you're right, you know. They got to go and talk to them. They got to go and work with the people. I want to tell you that there's a lot of work to be done, and we have to find ways and means of doing that work, because these people, our people like me, who look like me, those people will not forgive us if we don't deliver the big thing for them. Thank you, David, Mark, the audience, Trevor. Thanks for sharing this with us, and we have to move on.
You know, thank you so much, Lincoln. Really appreciate you guys tonight. But when I look at some of the comments, I can feel the frustration all over the comments there, this comment section, the frustration of the people. They want boots on the ground. They want this oppressive, this racist regime to be confronted with boots on the ground. A well-organized something, just do whatever that is necessary. We have done it before.
Mark, I want to use this opportunity.
One second, but go ahead, sir. Make your point.
Sorry to disturb you. I just wanted to use this opportunity to thank the hard-working staff of the credit union. We have some really tough nuts at the credit union who work very long hours trying to meet the demands of our members. They go to work very early and they leave very late. And I want to say a special shout out to those hard-working staff, especially the management team, but also to the membership. Mark, we have had a period in the life of the credit union when they were getting absolutely nothing back for their monies that they were placed into the hands of the leadership of the credit union. And we have removed that. We have made sure that they begin to get dividends. We want to keep that this way. We want to make sure that every year we come to the people to renew our mandate. An annual general meeting in accordance with the law must be held, and we are calling on all concerned to make sure that that happens. This is something that some members of the management committee have been resisting, and I'm insisting that we must have it. We must have the annual general meeting where we can report our members on what we have been able to do and to get their renewed mandate. But particularly to the staff, thank you to the members who continue to come and sit and be polite and enjoy the services of the credit union. We say thank you to you as well. And look forward to seeing all of you on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday I was told that there's a 12 o'clock, that's 12 midday. Uh, have you been notified of that? And if so, where exactly? Is it going to be in front of the headquarters?
I've just gotten the message as well saying that this is going to happen on Wednesday, and I fully endorse and support it, and I'll be there myself. So I'm encouraging all the other members who are able to come out. This is the largest credit union in the country. This is the credit union that has the most public servants in it, and if this credit union is not allowed to succeed, then a lot of people can lose their monies. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that we continue on the path of success that we have endured in the last few years, and only the members can make that happen. If they don't show up, if they don't insist that the management team work for them, then I'll not be able to help.
All right, gentlemen, thank you all so much. I was going to ask you for your closing remarks, Trevor, but we will take that as your closing remarks. I see Rhonda Lane and lots of other people are saying they're going to be there. I know Lincoln is going to put his boots on and be there. I hope Sharma Sullivan will put his boots on and be there. And all of you guys who are in Guyana will put your boots on and be there Wednesday at 12 o'clock, noon. That is in front of the credit union, the GPS, the Guyana Public Service Credit Union's headquarters out there in Georgetown. Put your boots
Mark,
on.
just to tell the members, sorry, that there is enough seating in the avenue out there now. It's beautiful. So even if it's just to come and sit and show solidarity for those of you who cannot stand up in the hot sun, who can't walk, there is seating all across the avenue. So please
Absolutely,
be there.
and I hope
be there, and we'll be counting on Lincoln and his team to help us with water and snacks for those who might need it.
In fact, we here at 107.1 FM will help you guys with water and snacks. That's the promise. We will help.
Thank you.
And I know David Hinds, True Politics 101, will do some assistance too.
Yes, that's certainly Cam's TV would be there. Mark, let me just apologize to Diane, who said that the question about whether the credit union was for Black people or all other workers, she said she was not being mischievous. I really thought it was a question from one of the trenches.
Not the trenches, but Diane, yes. We saw your...
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a genuine question from Diane, and she's right. Sometimes we speak and we assume that the audience knows the background and all of that stuff. What we thought, Diane, my sincerest apologies. I really thought it was a provocative question from one of the
trenches. But let me also apologize to Diane and wish her a happy Mother's Day and coming up Sunday, and to all of the mothers, all of the females who are watching, and those male who play the role of fathers as well, but particularly the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to all. Every single one. And usually,
and Lincoln, I will take up your offer and have Mr. Ben on Politics 101 to expand on the your suggestion, and have Mr. Ben come on Politics 101 to expand on the issue.
Trevor, we are with you. We are 100% with you. All right? I hope you take them to court and stop them from this illegal injunction. This illegal, what is it? No confidence.
No confidence.
I wonder if some of them are related to that guy Charan Das. Gentlemen, have a great weekend. Lincoln,
right, thank you.
Quickly, guys, Village Voice this weekend, right?
Yes.
Yep. Pick up a copy of the Village Voice. I noticed a lot of people saying that we talking. They want to hear action now. Action time. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Trevor.
All right.
Good. Yep. Thanks to our guests, Lincoln Lewis, David Hinds, and Trevor Benn. Fight back. I'm seeing you, Samuel Mingo, saying fight back. Rita Singh, good evening to all of you. Every single one of you. I've noticed that Diane has accepted the apology. No harm. It was innocuous there. But we love all our listeners. But we also know that there are some trenchies. And when the trench crappos come, it's basically to distract us, and we don't tolerate them at all. The minute they come with that distraction, we throw them in the trench. All right, so let's close off. I want you guys to see what's happening in Linden. I hope the people in Linden stand up for their right. Francine Cruz, I think Francine Cruz is a Lindener. I hope Francine is there in Linden and would stand up for the rights of the people. I also hope that the leadership of Linden, the leadership of Region 10, would be out there to stand up. Maybe it's too late. All of the houses of these people have been bulldozed. The question is, did any of the leaders in Linden, did they know about this before it happened? And when they knew that it was happening, what exactly did they do? I'd like to have those questions answered.
It's very sick. Okay, umbrella. I can't hide.
These people have no conscience. No conscience they don't have. None.
Wow. And then they call them squatters. Bulldoze them, kick them off the land. When you see that, it means some questionable rich business person that is connected to the PPP won that land for something. And they're going to bulldoze the people, break their houses down, bulldoze their homes, and that's it. Kick them out. Get out from here. You're squatters, right? But when Jack Day and all of them were squatting before they built their mansions at Pradoville 1, they were squatting. They bulldozed the people, kicked them out. A guy by the name of Civic and his entire family kicked out, tossed onto the streets. They have no heart. They're heartless vagabonds in the PPP. They continue doing the same thing all over again. And look, the bravery of these guys to walk into a mining town of Linden, bulldoze the people's homes, just a couple of them, and nobody did anything. Why not surround these guys? Stand up for your rights. You're more in numbers. It is wrong what they have done there. You don't bulldoze people's properties like that, people's homes like that. Mother's Day weekend, where is that woman going to be with her children? Where are the other women going to be? Where are the other family members are going to be? A ruthless, heartless, racist, corrupt PPP regime. Shame on you guys in the PPP. Shame on you, Jack Deere. Shame on you, Air Finale. Shame on Mark Phillips. Shame on all of them. And then the question is, talking. Who is going to bail the cat? What is the opposition doing? What is the leadership of the opposition doing? But then again, oftentimes when we ask those questions, we're bad. We're not supposed to ask questions. We're just supposed to hug up the leadership. Hug them up. Put mala around them. Give them chana. Sit down. Knock a Guinness with them. Hug them up and tell them what a great job they're doing. We must not constructively criticize them at all. And when we do, the little minions and the peanut brain ones and the chicken nugget ones them say that we are haters. Well, if we are haters, so be it. The people need proper representation. Enough of the excuses. I'll be back tomorrow, same place. Well, sorry, tomorrow's weekend, right? Unless there's another big story out there in Linden, we will carry it live right here on 107.1 FM. God bless you all. And we've got to pray for those people in Linden, people throughout the country who are punishing under this installed PPP regime. To all you mothers out there, God bless you all. Continue the great work. And for those mothers in Linden who have been affected by this act, this heartless act by the PPP regime, my heart goes out to you guys.
It's very sick. can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay for putting up resistance and asking questions.
Somebody just to go and help the woman out in the building. I want to help her go outside.
Put the car on the
I got you, Toy. I got you.
These people have no conscience. No conscience they don't have. None. Go.
It's very sick. Okay, umbrella. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay for putting up resistance and asking questions. Red hat.